We have one more, and then you get the opportunity to get to know our characters up close. So, Bonnie, take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Bonnie Schneider, and I am the co-founder of Skywind Solutions. We provide AI-powered hyper-local water level forecasting. Well, the blue economy has a blind spot. When it comes to astronomical tide predictions, this is a method that's over a century-year-old. It harnesses the steady cycle of the sun and the moon and the gravitational pull. And that does work in theory, but when it comes to practice, the ocean is filled with chaos. There are many external factors that influence water level height. For example, sea level rise, and of course, local weather effects. Not to mention the fact that we're looking at a very wide coastal area, 12,000 miles of US coastline, with areas that have gaps of up to 100 miles. So that means local data is not even being covered in some of these spots. The results, well, substantial errors. In fact, if there's a storm, those errors could go up to 5 feet. This is a costly problem. For municipalities, this means having more of a reactive reaction than a proactive one when it comes to planning for flooding. This is very important when it comes to pumping out water or closing roads. Hundreds of thousands of dollars can be lost at ports and terminals, fees for delays, and that also impacts construction, particularly in areas where they're depending on low tide to do dredging projects. And insurance, this is a big cost because when you have underestimated flood exposure, the cost could go up to $1 billion. So what is the solution? Well, our company provides AI-powered total water level intelligence. That means we account for the factors that I mentioned earlier. We are hyper-local and site-specific. We don't deploy any hardware. We customize to the location, and we also have our proprietary models. And our team of experts use state-of-the-art AI to learn from historical errors and bias correction. One of the unique features of our API-first architecture that's easy to plug in is that we not only give you the prediction, we provide an upper and lower confidence bound, 90% accurate. And this is what it looks like in practice. This is a clip of our dashboard for Port Richey, Florida. The red line is the predicted value. The blue lines are the upper and lower bands of where we're expecting within 90% accuracy the total water level to be. This is very important for leaders in operational coastal decisions when they have to make these decisions to have not only a prediction, but a little bit more traction in terms of what they can expect for water levels. Speaking of traction, I mentioned Port Richey. That's one of our initial pilot partners, and we've had an incredible steady reaction in a very short amount of time. We currently have 2 municipalities as pilot partners, which are a third starting next month. And you can see the quote from the resiliency coordinator that it was our dashboard that notified him for the accurate time that the roads in his community would flood, and he had enough notice to get there in time. What are the competitors? Well, our competitive landscape is typically the astronomical data that I mentioned earlier for NOAA or consumer apps. Enhanced tide data does exist with some research institutions providing fixed locations, meaning you don't get to decide where they are, they're giving you the location. Ours is hyper-local and customized for weather and sea level rise, and of course, we not only have the probability letters ability, but we have enterprise secure API. So how do we make money? Our subscription model is a typical SaaS model where we're anticipating our cost for the product will be $40,000 to even $100,000 annually for the site. We have an active pipeline, not just municipalities. I'm also in contact with terminals, ports, and insurance companies. So we're anticipating a rapid growth. And as you can see, this is a very large market for the total addressable market and specifically for US hyperlocal tide forecasting. I want to introduce you to our team. My background is as a former national television meteorologist. For years, I was on CNN, Bloomberg, the Weather Channel, MSNBC, and I have 2 published books. My team consists of all PhD scientists, experts in mathematics, numerical weather prediction, atmospheric science, computer science, and high-performance computing, and many of them all worked at the US Naval Research Laboratory, so it's a very high-esteemed group. We are today seeking partners and investors aligned with coastal intelligence, looking for strategic partnerships, advisory support, and of course, connections in the spaces that I mentioned. We're ready to scale. Our API is built, our product is built, and we have our initial pilot partners, and we're looking to scale. So we'd like to grow from our pilot traction to scalable market deployments. We're seeking $750,000 to $1 million for our seed funding. If anyone would like to get in touch, please feel free to scan the QR code right there, and you have my email, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.